Hello, my name is Lorraine Thompson. I'm the Regional Director with Donegal Youth Service. Donegal Youth Service has been in existence since 1981. It was originally set up as the Donegal Federation of Youth Clubs. So it was originally set up to support youth clubs all around the county. We would still have a very large number of youth clubs affiliated to the organisation. I think we've 24 at the minute, county-wide, and we would support those youth clubs as well as other youth projects that have grown over the years, possibly over the last 20 years, for specific issue-based work. I have been with Donegal Youth Service myself for the last 20 years, so I've seen a huge amount of changes in the organisation, and the organisation has grown in lots of different directions. I think it's a bit of a cliche for community voluntary organisations at this stage to say that funding is always a challenge, but it's funding to help design and develop and have the services for the young people that we want to have in place. So because we're very much a community-based organisation, grassroots organisation, we see the issues coming in the door, we see the emerging trends and needs with young people and with the people that support them, so the volunteers, and then we want to develop services and projects to support them. So that usually means that we need resources or funding of some degree to help put those services in place for the young people. The emerging needs, issues and trends is something that we have to keep on top of all of the time, and to make sure that our service stays relevant. I would say mostly in the last 10 years, governance, compliance, and making sure that we have all of the financial governance and management structures in place is the biggest challenge. Once we have all of that in place, we find that we can attract funding better from different sources. So we have a board of directors here within Donegal Youth Service. We are a limited company. We are a charity company limited by guarantee, what's known as a CLG. We're very lucky, we have a very strategic board here. The board that we have in place some would come from the youth clubs and the youth services, the youth projects that we have on the ground. Others would come with more of a business acumen. So we would have, for example, a lecturer from the LYT, we have a retired principal, we have a teacher, and then we have various directors from other community and voluntary organisations, and they combine then are very clear. Their role is in the strategic governance, so the oversight of the organisation. My role as the regional director or the CEO is in the day-to-day management of the organisation, and I think so long as there's clarity in those two roles, so as I do my job well and they're there then to support the organisation, then it works really well. So we're currently working on a 3-year strategic plan. We, in the past, would have had maybe a 5-year strategic plan, which we felt it was too long and was irrelevant by the time we came to the end of it. Strategic planning is always something that we're trying to work on, to get better at, to make sure that it's measurable, smart, achievable. This is the first strategic plan where we set out our key performance indicators. So we were very clear about what we wanted to achieve, and then the challenge then is on how we measure that. So we do work on a logic model, so we're outcomes focused. That in itself is a whole other language that we had to learn. And we never claim to know it all. I think that's important. We're coming to the end of that 3-year strategic plan, and then we're now looking forward to the next plan, and hopefully that will be better again. So we are focused on what our capacity is, and I think it is a flaw in the community and voluntary sector in that we want to do so much and we want to get involved in so many things, and working with young people is so interesting, and people in the organisation have so much passion for what they want to do that we end up maybe trying to do too much and being all things to all people. So when things come in the door, we want to be the service to respond to that, and a strategic plan helps us focus very much on what we set out to do, and we can measure our work against that. So when we have to do our reports back into funders, for example, we have our parameters in place. That being said, we maybe still go outside of it a bit. Well, I think, as I say, I've been with the organisation for the last 20 years. I am staying here for a reason, because the organisation has a lot of energy, creativity. We have a very diverse staff team. We allow very much the staff to bring their own skills to the job. So if we have somebody who's really interested in history, for example, we do a lot of cross-border work. Somebody else maybe who's very involved in arts, media, music, things like that, or sport, or journalism. We have a project going on at the minute around fake news. So there's always something, some hook to get us involved in projects that are more interesting and meeting the needs of the young people. So we're always trying to balance that. We're trying to make sure the organisation stays relevant to young people. That's very important. Young people have to voluntarily want to engage with us. We are seeing emerging trends of young people presenting with more anxiety-based issues. So that's a concern, and we want to make sure that our service can help support those young people in whatever way that we can. So I suppose going forward, we want to keep doing what we're doing. We have aspirations always of growing the organisation. We have a public space here in Letterkenny that, as you see, is very beautiful and very nice for young people to come into, and I think that's really important. I would like to see one of those in every town and village in Donegal, indeed in the country. I think young people should have a safe space that they can call their own. They can come in, they can meet their friends, they don't have to spend any money, and then they can get involved in all the other projects. So yeah, we'll just keep working away at that, and there'll be lots of work to do in the future. Well, primarily our funding comes from the government, from the Irish government, so it would be the Department of Children Youth Affairs, but we also have projects funded through TUSLA, through the HSE. We get funding from Donegal County Council. We've had a lot of cross-border projects, and that requires a partnership approach to the work. So we would have a lot of very strong partnerships with organisations in Northern Ireland, and more we have partnerships going into Europe. So we would be heavily involved in European work over the last 10 years. Again, that's growing. We would have to have all the governance and financial management policies and procedures in place to make sure that we have the capacity to work on those projects. And I would say since the recession hit, we have had to relook at how our funding is structured and to look at the skill set of the staff. When we got a reduction of, I think, 35% of our funding, the board had to make a decision then as to what they would do. Other organisations may have cut staff hours, but our board had a confidence in the staff and the skill set that was here, and we were able to look at the services that we could provide and charge. So for example, when we go into schools and we do internet safety workshops, then we're able to charge the schools for that and make sure that our funding structures allow that to happen. So you might have some staff members part funded through government funding and then part funded through monies raised through the training that we provide. So I think that's a good model of social enterprise. It's very important not to have all your eggs in one basket, as it were, and to see the strengths of the organisation and where you can make that sustainability going forward.